Gender-based violence is a global scourge that affects half the world's population. The menace has not only affected families, but all sectors of the society. A clear testimony that concerted efforts are key to dealing with this form of violence.
I think gender-based violence is when conflict erupts between a man and a woman or a woman and a man. This conflict might be physical or verbal. That results in someone not feeling comfortable.
Gender-based violence is not just a physical form of violence. It can be emotional, it can be financial, it can be spiritual.
Kushungurudzana mukati medzimba mukadzi nemurume, murume nemukadzi, kana kuwana, kana makombi, kana mabasa.
Well, there are many ways to approach it, but if you want a simplistic view, it's when the weaker sex in a marriage gets battered, abused, beaten up, neglected. And, but if you remove the word gender, then you just talk about violence, then it can be a lot of things.
It doesn't necessarily stop in the household, but it actually expands into our workplace, into just a social setting, in our general environment.
GBV is not one-sided. You'd find that there's some girls who actually abuse boys, and this is usually common in the shy guys, who comes across a very confident lady. Next thing, she'll do whatever she wants, and in turn, abusing that poor little boy, Shem.
You have a father who's an abusive father. He beats his wife every other day for no reason, even for a reason. It doesn't have to be a reason-based thing, but the fact that you hit somebody, that's violence against them.
Growing up in our rural areas, that's the thing that we grew up with, where our mothers and fathers used to fight. And on reasons being that sometimes the father comes when he's drunk, and what he gets from the mother is not what he's expecting. And sometimes when the mother tries to explain, but because she's the wife, then she gets beaten.
People of our age, when they're growing up, if they've been in a family where gender violence has occurred, when they grow up with different mindsets. So most of them grow up thinking that maybe if, let's say for an example, the mother was violated by the father more often, they think that it's normal for a boy to be able to be dominant over a girl child.
Mudzimba mfano wange muchirwa yevabereki vana vakatarisa vachiziva kuti mukati memba muno baba naamai havasi kuwirirana zvinhu zvinenge zvisina kumbonaka. Munofanirwa kuita zvinhu zvenyu private. Kana maamune vana havafanirwa kuziva kuti zvii zvaitika pakati pevabereki vedu.
I feel a lot hasn't been done. Give an example in our African context. Men are always told, or boys are always told when they're growing up, you do not cry. You do not accept to be beaten. So as a result, when something happens to them, or maybe when you're now a man and you're married, and then your wife physically attacks you, they cannot say anything about it.
If you go back a little bit, maybe you want to look at culture, maybe you want to look at religion, you want to look at race. There are women who are generally meant to be beaten. They accept beating because in their culture, it's acceptable. I think it's a sign of love. If your husband doesn't beat you, then they don't love you. But I think that burns down to ignorance.
The Global World dedicated 16 days of activism against gender-based violence has run its course. A more rigid, active 365 days regimen of activism and zero tolerance to gender-based violence may be the answer.
16 days hazikwani asi kuti zvitorambe kana gore rese kuti zvinyatsopera kuti munhu anyatsonzwisisa.
We cannot celebrate something just for 16 days when something is happening all year round.
16 days is not enough for addressing gender issues. I think it needs to be expanded, and the idea that they're now moving to 365 days is very effective, because giving people a message every single day over and over, repeating it with different methods of print, radio, TV, visuals, just by hearing, the message will be communicated effectively.
The 365 days, I welcome it in the sense that we live every day. The marriage is always to live every day.
So from moving it from 16 days to 365 days, I think it's more effective because it's more time on the issue. And in terms of addressing people so that they're aware of it, I think they should do social media campaigns because people of my age, peers, are usually on social media. So get them where they are more attentive.
There's this great divide, and it's not going to come with a caption of 16 days or 36 days or 365 days. It's the heart of man that needs to be repaired, the heart of woman that needs to be repaired. I'd submit to you that the anger that oozes out of this brokenness is what causes a man to crush someone else who's weaker than him physically or weaker than him emotionally. But he suffers as well.
I don't think enough has been done. I think we still need to educate our youth, especially, as well as our parents, to be good examples for our children. We still need to have a lot more programs in terms of educating various individuals about gender-based violence.
I think education is the uttermost, and I think people should be jailed. If you beat your wife, I think you should go to jail. If your wife beats you, I think she should go to jail. And I think if your teacher beats your kid at school, I think the teacher should also go to jail.
There's a saying that it's difficult to teach an old dog new tricks. So the best thing that I think is to try and take it to the children. It's what we teach them that actually comes out of them. And when we teach them what are the good values, they'll take about the good values.
I believe that you should also come to schools, come to colleges, educate us, catch us young.
I'd publicly say now to the women that I've abused, to some degree physically, by entering into relationships I shouldn't have been in, sorry. And that's probably the first start. Sorry, Zimbabwe.
Kana nezengarambo achizviito unoenda kumakoti kana kusungwa kwacho unotosungwa zvinonopedza ikoko ukanopika ukadzoka unenge waswatuka.
Do your part. Leave no one behind. End violence against women and children.